Hello, my name is Chris and I am the sound designer for the Narnia Experience Leeds. The Narnia Experience is a piece of promenade theatre which is happening in Left Bank in early December of this year. And as sound designer, I am responsible for heading up the sound design team. And as a team, we're responsible for everything that you hear within Narnia. In these blogs, I'm hoping to share the design process as we pull together the sound design, and near the time we'll be looking at some of the techniques and some of the technology that's going to help us do that. For now though, by way of an introduction, I thought we'd take some time to look at some of the challenges that face us with the concept of Narnia. Narnia is very different to a piece of conventional theatre, which is my background. My background is as a theatre sound designer working in local musical theatre and working with amateur societies in the area. But there are still three key parts that I believe are important in every sound design that I think can be carried through to Narnia as well. The first key point, and I think the most important, is speech. In most methods of storytelling, speech is the key part, and I believe that's the case in theatre. You need to make sure that you can hear every word that is spoken on stage, every word that is sung on stage too, because in musical theatre, the singing is just as important as the speech. Narnia hopefully won't require any amplification because it's a very close piece of theatre. You go around in small groups, you are right next to the actors, you walk alongside them, it's promenade theatre, you are in their houses, you are right there with them, so hopefully they won't need any amplification whatsoever. But still, speech is a challenge to us when we come to Aslan. Aslan is a huge part of what we're trying to do, and there's a lot of things not decided about Aslan yet, but one thing that is for certain is that he will need to speak. However we make Aslan work, however he is present in Narnia, he will need to speak and have conversations. So we need to make sure that we do that in a way that is transparent, that makes it sound like he is actually speaking, be he a puppet or a member of cast in a costume. So that is really important, and that coupled with the acoustics of Left Bank, our venue, which aren't great for amplified speech. Left Bank is a beautiful old church, but due to the reverb in the room, it can get quite muddy. It can often suck clarity out of spoken word. So we need to make sure we're really careful about how we amplify things and just how speech works in there to make sure that it is clear and concise. The second key thing for me in a piece of theatre is music. Clearly musical theatre is very important. I would normally work with musical director, work with the band to make sure I have a good balance of band versus cast, and also within the cast and within the band, balance between parts and harmonies and that kind of thing. Narnia is not a piece of musical theatre, and there isn't a band. However, music is still going to play a vital part, because just like any good film, the story of Narnia needs a soundtrack. Music is so great at amplifying emotion within a piece, really making you feel something in a way that's often far stronger than if someone just is speaking. So we need to make sure that the music within Narnia really helps to amplify what's going on emotionally, and really helps you to feel part of it and feel the excitement when you need to do as well. Then there's the third part, which is the sound canvas. That is how we mix together sound effects to finish the scene off, to make the scene feel more realistic. Within theatre, there is a term used called suspension of disbelief. And that just means that when you are sat in a theatre, yes, you are just sat in a seat in a venue, but for the time that the actors are on stage, you are kind of sucked in. It's almost like your brain can zone out the fact that you're sat in a theatre holding a bag of popcorn or sweets, and instead you are part of the action. And in Narnia, that's going to be even more so, because you are actually there. You're in effect on stage with the actors because you are sat right next to them and they are far closer and far more real. So because of that, our sound design needs to be a little bit more subtle, because you aren't sat back from the stage, you are actually there. And we're going for making it as realistic as possible. And there are two key types of sound effect. There are those key sound effects. They're things that interact with the action. In a show, it might be the gunshot or the crack of thunder, or those kind of things that are critical to the plot. And then there's the subtle stuff. There's the whistling of the wind through the trees. There's the crickets creaking away to themselves when you're outside. It's those kind of things that really help in a piece of theatre to build atmosphere. In Narnia, we need to think about how Narnia actually needs to sound, what those effects need to be, and what our background sound effects need to be. I believe that an audience should leave a theatre, whether it be promenade theatre or conventional theatre, having not noticed that the sound designer was there at all. Speech should be transparent, clear, but shouldn't feel over-amplified. Sound effects, again, should be transparent, encompassing, but not in your face. The kind of thing that you don't notice they're there, but if we turned them off, you'd notice they're gone. The final challenge for Narnia is that it has to be performer operated. The concept of Narnia is that it repeats itself several times a day for several different audiences. So this thing needs to be easy to reset, and there probably won't be a member of technical staff there all the time. Narnia needs to be operated very simply by the cast or by the ushers who are in the building. We need to make sure that we don't get in the way of our actors as they do that. They need to be able to concentrate on their acting, not upon which button to press next. And the show needs to be reliable. This show's going to run for 2 weeks with very little attention from a technical point of view. So it needs to be reliable, it needs to repeat well, and it has to be simple to operate to. 3 really big challenges that face us as we design and pull together the Narnia Experience. For these blogs, I'm hoping to take you through a few of those decisions, a few of the processes we go through, without giving away too much. I don't want to spoil a visit to Narnia by telling you how we did everything. But at the same time, it'd be really nice if we can, on the journey we go on, show you some of the things that are happening, show you some of the interesting and cool things that we're doing. Our next blog will hopefully be a chance for me to show you some of the tools we have available to us, some of the tools in our toolkit that will help us to make Narnia run as well as possible. But for the time being, thank you for listening, and I'll hopefully catch you again soon.